Are you relocating to a new state? Is your job transferring you to the Bay Area? If you need a guide on how to wrap your head around where to start, this is the video for you. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Erika Monroe. I'm a realtor in the Bay Area and I specialize in Solano County. So where do you start when considering a relocation? First, we need to establish a timeline. Everybody's timeline is a little bit different dependent on when your office needs you locally, your buyer qualifications, if you need to sell a house prior to purchasing a home, how flexible your terms are, and of course, your criteria for your replacement home. The more particular you are as a buyer, the longer it's going to take. And right now we have very little inventory in Northern California. It may take you longer than you anticipate to find a house that you're really excited about. You also need to consider the fact that you may need to make more than one offer. We just have very little supply and high demand. California operates very differently than a majority of the country. So once you get into contract, typically you can close as quickly as 21 days, as long as you have a lender that can perform under those timelines. So that's the great news. The actual escrow process should be pretty quick, but you need to allow yourself ample time to locate the home that you want and potentially make more than one offer. Step 2 is to get pre-approved by a local lender. And I emphasize local, again, because our market is very different than anywhere else in the country. It's really difficult for larger banks and lenders outside of California to understand and be able to perform under our tight timelines. Most listing agents and sellers will also add value to a buyer who has a good local lender because they'll have confidence in knowing that the lender can actually perform. Now, I know it feels like jumping the gun to get pre-approved at this point, but how else are you going to know how much home you can afford? When chatting with your lender, make sure to let them know that you haven't fully committed to a specific city or county yet. And this is important because each county in the Bay Area has a different conforming loan limit. For example, Solano County, which is viewed as a more affordable county, has a conforming loan limit of $647,000. So if you're looking at a home priced higher than that, the difference has to come out of pocket in cash. If you're looking around Contra Costa, so Martinez, Concord, Walnut Creek, your conforming loan limit, if you can afford it, is up to $970,000. So it's a big discrepancy. Once you receive your pre-approval letter, that's going to be your guide to determine what locations you can afford. If your office is located in an expensive city such as San Francisco or Oakland, chances are you're going to have to look further out to other counties for housing. Commuting is just part of life for most folks in the Bay Area. I would encourage you to plug in different locations into Google Maps at times that you anticipate commuting so you have a true understanding of what you would be facing. You want to protect your quality of life and just set realistic expectations for what you would be facing if moving to a specific city or counties. Once you've narrowed down your search to a few cities that you feel are commutable, contact a local realtor to get more in-depth insight and information into the different neighborhoods. The realtor is also going to have resources for you to determine whether these areas are located in special assessment or Mello Roos districts. These will increase your property taxes, therefore increasing your monthly payment. It's really important to consider for cost of living. You'll also want to look at school districts if that's important to you, amenities, so public transportation, shopping, restaurants. You may want to look into crime rates as well. Realtor will have resources to help you do your due diligence and make these informed, educated decisions that are right for you or your family. If you have the luxury to fly out and drive around the neighborhoods, that's truly the best way to determine whether a location is going to be a good fit for you or not. If you don't have the luxury of doing so, your realtor should be able to do video home tours for you and also tour the neighboring streets around the house that you're interested in. That's going to give you a really good feel for what to expect. Google Earth and satellite view or street view is also going to be a great resource. Step 3, learn the market. Typically with relocation, you just don't have the luxury of time. You really need to educate yourself so that you can hit the ground running and you know what it's going to take to be a successful buyer. The best way to do so is have your realtor send you comps, so recently sold homes. Start paying attention to the list price versus the selling price. this is how much more over the list price the winning buyer had to offer. That's going to give you a range for what to consider when making your offers. Now, it's not a perfect formula. Some listing agents have different strategies than others, but it should start giving you an idea of what it's going to take to have the winning bid. The more you can educate yourself in advance, the more successful you're going to be. It's going to allow you time to digest and get over that sticker shock, which you'll likely experience, and allow you to offer competitively when you're ready. Lastly, but possibly the most important, is to have a contingency or a backup plan. What happens if it takes you longer than you anticipate to get into a home? Perhaps you're not able to be as competitive as some of the other buyers, and it's going to take you just a little longer to close on a property. You want to make sure that you always have a roof over your head. Whether it's an extended stay hotel, Airbnb, you're staying with friends or family, make sure you have a solid plan in place. Make those reservations at storage units, especially if you're considering a move during spring or summer, which is considered peak season. You don't want to be left scrambling last minute. That's just going to add additional stress to what can already be a stressful experience. If you're being relocated to the Bay Area, check out Most Desirable Neighborhoods of Vallejo or Most Desirable Neighborhoods of Fairfield. They're both viewed as commutable cities to San Francisco, to the East Bay, and Sacramento. You're going to be able to purchase a larger home on a more expansive lot for less money than the neighboring counties. Thanks so much for watching. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, or would like to work together.